Hey, thanks for stopping by and let me tell you about this piece. This piece is called Loop Full of Fight, and it comes from a letter with watercolor that Charlie Russell wrote to a guy named Patrick Tommy Tucker. Now, these two guys cowboyed together in the Judith Basin in the 1880s. And the story goes something like this, that Charlie, Tommy, and a few other cowboys were out and they were gathering cattle. And Charlie spotted a bunch of buffalo. And he said, you know what we ought to do? We ought to go get some of those buffalo, haze them in to all these cattle. And this was July 3rd now, 1883. And the next day, see, then they could put on their own little Wild West show. They were heading to the roundup grounds and that, and they could put on this little show, and they could rope buffalo and just kind of see what happened, to have a little competition among all the cowboys. So that's what they did. They went and got these buffalo, and they moved them up into the cattle, moving down to the roundup grounds. Well, the next day, the captain of the roundup picked 14 ropers that were going to be a part of this little show. And so Charlie and Tommy Tucker were two of them. So Tommy Tucker picked his best horse. Now his best horse was named Bunky, and this is Bunky right here that you see. And so he picks old Bunky out, and Charlie got his horse, and the goal was here that Tommy was going to hit him, and Charlie was going to heel this buffalo, stretch him out there. So that's what they did, and they started into the herd. Well, this old buffalo bull, he just took off a running. So Tommy Tucker peeled off after him, and he got out his rayetta. Now this rayetta you see here, Tommy had braided the winter before. It was brand new, hadn't used it much, and he was real proud of it. So he drug that thing down off his saddle, built a loop, and off he went, and he got that buffalo roped. But what happened was he roped him deep, which means he had a big loop, and as it settled down over that buffalo, I'll show you, it came around his neck here, as you can see, but the buffalo stepped through it with his right front, all the way around his front end, back up around here. And you know, when you rope anything that deep, it's just going to tow you like a truck. So this old buffalo, when he felt the rayetta tighten around him, boy, he just took off even harder. Well, Tommy Tucker took his dallies, and Bunky did what every good rope horse does. He sat down trying to stop this old buffalo. Well, that old buffalo wasn't having none of that. And he just ran the harder and just drug him right down this hill. They had started down this hill, and there was a little creek down there at the bottom of it. Well, as they got drugged down that hill, Tommy said, you know, maybe I ought to just untether from this old truck. And so he undallied, kicked his rayetta loose, and that old buffalo jumped the creek, and off he went. And Tommy Tucker said the last he saw of that rayetta, it was whipping like a snake through the buffalo grass. So that's the story, and that's what happened. It's recounted not only in Russell's watercolor and letter to Tucker, but Tucker wrote a book called Ride the High Country, and it's recounted in there as well. And the useful thing about that book is that it tells you what kind of rig that Tommy Tucker had. So I used not only Russell's letter, but Tucker's actual description of his rig. So you can see here he used a Texas rig, means it had 2 cinches, square skirt, double cinch, little drop shank spur here, wooden stirrups. That's a Hernandez style bit, and of course an old style bridle as well that he would have had on there. Flat reins, which is typical of the Texas style riggings they would have used. Plainsman hat, and you can see in the shotgun leggings as well that he's wearing. This is all the stuff that were not only depicted by Russell, but is typical of the Texas rigs these guys would have been riding. And you can see Bunky here. He's got this old ear swinging around and saying, egads, what's going on now? His other ear's watching what's going on, and this old buffalo's got his tongue hanging out over here, and he's just not going to let anything stop him. He's getting flat away from there. So that's the story. Old Tommy really found himself with a loop full of fight. Thanks for stopping and letting me tell you about it.